This episode of Recording Studio Rockstars is brought to you by Isotope, Native Instruments, Atom Audio, and SAE Institute. You're hearing my voice right now mixed through Isotope, Ozone, and Velvet on Atom Audio monitors and headphones. Make sure to get my free mixing course at mixmasterbundle.com, and please check out our awesome sponsors using the links in the show notes. And please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel because it's a great way to help support this show. Now get ready to rock.
To me, the magic of tape or analog, but tape, one of the most important things is the track count. Okay, you have 4 tracks, you have 8 tracks, 16, 24, maybe if you were really rolling, you had 48, but you had finite number of tracks. So you made decisions in the writing process. You're like, hey, we're recording this album, the 16-track 2-inch. Okay, well, you're not going to put like a bunch of stuff on there that, well, we'll think about it later. We'll decide later.
Right,
you know?
right.
That's one side of the magic of tape, more so than the sound of it or whatever. Other thing is, when you get to the end of a take, people are, either hanging out in the control room or coming in, and you hit rewind. And you're just hanging, you're chilling. Like things just moved at a different pace.
Yeah.
So with that said, like there was more time to like think and again, like make decisions. Like when the tape's rewinding and, oh yeah, that microphone doesn't look like it's in the same place anymore.
Right.
So like, let me go move it, let me go check those headphones. Like there was just time where now everything is just instant. And it's easier to miss those things.
Welcome to Recording Studio Rockstars. I'm Lid Shaw, and this is the podcast created to help you become a rock star of the recording studio. Dreaming of a career in audio or the entertainment business? SAE Institute Nashville, in the heart of Music Row, offers hands-on programs where you'll learn on professional-grade gear with industry pros, learning through real projects, not just lectures. Explore studio production, live sound, audio for film, and a whole lot more. Or take the entertainment business program to learn about contracts, promotion, and more. With diploma, associate, and bachelor's programs, there's a path for you. Book a tour today at nashville.sae.edu or call 615-244-5848. Howdy, Rockstars. It's your host, Lid Shaw, and welcome back to Recording Studio Rockstars, bringing you into the studio to learn from recording professionals so that you can make your best record ever and be a rock star of the studio yourself. My guest today is Alan Evans, recording, mixing, and mastering engineer, producer, and musician based in Western Massachusetts. Alan's probably best known as the drummer and co-founder of Soulive, but over the past 30 years, he's also built a deep discography engineering, producing, and shaping the sounds of hundreds of recordings. He grew up in a musically rich household in Buffalo, New York, warming up on the sounds of Miles Davis, Ray Charles, and Jimi Hendrix, which ultimately lit the fire for his interest in music. As a teenager, he hit the clubs and started recording bands, teaching himself the craft of recording, mixing, and production from the ground up. These days, Alan continues to push boundaries through his label Vintage League Music, projects spanning jazz, funk, reggae, rock, and Americana, including recent recordings with Oteil Burbridge and Mono Neon at Floki Studios in Iceland, and a new album with Charlie Hunter and Ella Finegold at Pilot Recording Studios in Housatonic, Massachusetts. Alan's been on the show, of course, before for episodes 183, 339, and 440, and I'm psyched to have him back again, but this time in person for video at Ready to Rock Studios. Please welcome Alan Evans, Recording Studio Rockstars. Alan, Al, aka Al, are you ready to rock, dude?
Well, I'm here, so I must be, right?
Dude, it's great to have you here, man. And we were just, joking about it too. What a trip that this is the first time we've met in person, and we've been doing episodes and hanging out. I mean, chatting, sending music back and forth for a decade. We've done a record together.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, we did Hide Your Mamas.
Yeah, Hide
where
Your Mamas.
You played a bunch
yeah.
of cool percussion on it. Yeah. Thanks for doing that, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome to Nashville, man. Welcome to Music City.
Thank you so much, man, and thank you for giving me a reason to get down here. It's been a while, so
yeah, and it was wonderful to meet your lovely wife, Kate, too. So
yeah,
what an honor. And so, have you been here before though? Yeah,
many times, many times. Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, I don't even know how many, but always here just gigging, you know.
Yeah,
and usually just kind of in and out really quick. So it's nice to just be able to hang out, walk around, and just enjoy some time.
Would a lot of the gigs primarily be Soulive on tour, or is it a variety of bands?
The majority of them. Although I think the last time I was actually, Kim and I were just talking about this. I think the last time I was here was with this band, the New Master Sounds, and I was like filling in for their drummer who wasn't available. So I believe that was the last time I was here. But again, that would have been, pre-COVID for sure.
Right, a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, welcome back, man.
Yeah, man.
Welcome back. It probably looks a little different than the last time you were here, too. This city's kind of exploding.
Actually, so the last time I was supposed to be here was for the opening of the Brooklyn Bowl.
Oh, really?
And that didn't happen because a tornado came through here.
Oh, 2020 or something like that?
Yeah. Wow. So it was like, that's exactly what, so that didn't happen. The tornado hit.
And then we saved home studios.
Saved home studios, exactly. Yeah. And then, and probably just in time because that's when the world shut down. So
yeah, right. So no doubt.
Yeah.
Now things have changed a lot. Like when I built my studio here, it was, or put it down in the garage, it was surrounded by fields. So it was like it was no brainer. And now there's 6 houses just like hugging it on all sides, big ones. Yeah. But cool people are moving here, so it's nice to meet new neighbors and get to know everybody and stuff.
Yeah, Kim and I were just saying she heard from somebody, I think maybe our son, that like Nashville is like one of the like fastest growing cities like in the country or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I think so. It's been that way. I guess nothing stays that way forever.
Yeah.
I mean, Seattle was the bullseye for grunge music.
Right.
And I don't know, I guess Nashville's held on to the country thing for a long time.
It has, yeah. But I mean,
New York's held on to the jazz thing forever. Isn't it?
Yeah. And then New Orleans is held on to, I guess it's funny, maybe jazz, but also like funk. I mean, there's
everything's mixed up now. Yeah. Do you feel like a particular place has always been your music hub? I mean, do you just think of your home in Western Mass or Boston or like any cities, or just a little bit of everywhere?
I mean, for me personally, probably a little bit of everywhere, but like, I guess for like Soulive as a band, it was always New York City.
Yeah.
But,
and did you say you guys were living there at one point as well, too?
Actually, not during Soulive. I lived there long before Soulive in the early 90s. I lived in New York. But Neil, my brother Neil and Kraz lived in New York for a long time. And that's the kind of like where, like, really, I mean, for us, that's where things really started. So I guess that's, for probably most bands, like, that's kind of where you call home, or even if you don't live there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I've had fun. I had the pleasure to play in New York a couple of times, and it's always like such a big deal for someone to get to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been there millions of times, tons of times.
Yeah.
Well, so now we've had you on the show. We've talked about so many cool things. Last time you were on, we were talking about you recording Oteil Burbridge in Iceland, of all places, which was an incredible story, a beautiful studio and everything.
Yeah.
And I think you were telling me that you've made some changes recently to your studio, right?
I did. Well, it's funny, like I kind of going back to, starting with Iceland. Even before that, I was finding myself, that's when I had my old recording studio. But I found myself recording elsewhere more than I was really recording at my spot. So going to Iceland for the first time with OTO gave me, it just kind of inspired me to close my spot. And so anyway, did that and moved my mixing and mastering situation back home. So I just got all my gear and threw it in the room there, and was like that for a few years. And then recently I was talking to you about sound treatment and just kind of this and that. So finally, after probably 5 years or so, Kim and I finally renovated the room, and it sounds amazing. It looks great, feels great. But that's kind of like how it goes sometimes. I'm sure you know.
And that's the room back at the
at my
home
house.
studio.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's really hard to, I guess, at least for me, to know exactly what you want. Like when you just are looking at an open room. Yeah, you kind of have to move in, set some gear up, do some work in there, and live with it for a while until. It's time until you know what you want, really. Yeah. So now, anyway, it's great and really digging it. So. Well,
it's interesting too. I mean, there's an element of what you said where you can kind of visualize some ideas. You can visualize, what sort of style of sound you want to create and stuff like that. But there's also a certain element of audio where you don't know what it sounds like till you hear what it sounds like, kind of thing. So. Right. It's kind of like there's a certain bit of what we do where you just have to respond to things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although, it was interesting to work with, Carl Tatz, as I've talked about, where he's done so many of the studios, that he's designed, and they all have this similar style, design setup. So I guess it must be interesting to be able to walk into a space and just decide what it's going to sound like before you're in there. But even then, they still sound different because I've heard them.
Right. And so, but that is one particular sound. That's right. That's one way of doing it. Yeah. I mean, you chose Carl Tatz. You could have chose, somebody else who would have a completely different perspective on it, and the room would have came out completely different, would have sounded different, would have felt different. So, I mean, again, like you just never know. Like you just have to live with it for a while. Yeah. And how long have you had the room like that?
So that was maybe 2020 is when we started doing the changeover.
Right.
So now it's been years. So now I'm internalizing the sound. That's another part about once we do it. One good reason or one benefit of having a space for a while is you sort of internalize what your sounds are.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So check it, man. So I recently was on a jury panel for at the Hart School of Music in Hartford, Connecticut.
Right on.
There were 3 engineers. One guy, Kobe, who was a graduate of the program probably 10 years prior, and Ron and Chris Murphy. So the 3 of us were like checking out. There were 9 students who recorded and produced EPs as their senior project, and we were invited there to listen to each student's presentation on what they did, the whole process, what they learned, any difficulties they had. And then they played one song from the EP, and we would just kind of jot down some notes for them to have. But then at the end of each song, we also gave them some, like a critique, short critique, so anyway. It was interesting. The one cool thing was like these are all kids who are graduating, and they all recorded and produced live like bands.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was really cool. So I mean, they were like miking up guitar amps and just the whole drums, the whole thing.
You think that was a a school kind of leaning direction, or do you think that was the interest of the students as a body?
I think it's probably a little of both. But yeah. I mean, it was so the cool thing about these students at the Hart school, they were all musicians. So in this program, in the recording, production, technology, whatever you want to call it program. So I say all this to get to this point, is that it was interesting in that, so a lot of the presentations, they'd have a spreadsheet of, okay, this is what we're, their track sheet, like this is what I used on kick drum, snare drum, blah, 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 And there was one, they all did this, which was funny, but I remember this one kid was a classical trumpet player, but produced a song that was like a 70s like rock kind of vibe, like ZZ Top or AC/DC.
Right, not even fusion.
No, it was like rock, 70s rock and roll, right? Anyway, so I was checking out his track sheet on the spreadsheet, and every instrument had like a different mic pre, basically, like, well, this is the drums maybe had like the same mic pre's, but then on the guitar they had like 3 mics on the guitar, and I use these mic pre's and these mic pre's and this and this and that. I said, okay, that's cool. So my critique to him, I mean, it sounded great, I mean, it was really cool tune, but I was like, it's interesting that you went for a 70s rock vibe, but you have 3 mics on each guitar cab.
Right.
And all these different mic pre's. When in fact, probably back in the day, it would have been 1 mic on the guitar amp. Probably. Maybe a couple, but probably
might have been 2
one.
Different shag carpets.
Yeah, exactly. And a console. So you're using just all these just mic pre's, and maybe some dynamics, possibly.
Yeah.
But the point is, I said, I understand where you're coming from, but experiment with, at some point in your career, experiment with just recording with 1 mic and a console, or just a similar group of mic pre's. And I say that because, kind of going back to the room, like, you don't know what it's going to sound like until you sit with it for a while. And it's kind of the same thing with recording. It's tougher these days because there's so much gear out there. There's like, we're going to try this on snare drum, and this is the perfect mic pre for dobro, and this is,
right.
But there are all these options, but no one really spends the time working with like one thing for an amount of time for them to learn what it sounds like.
Well, it probably will as soon as they get out of school, because they'll probably have one thing, you know what I
mean? Yeah. I can dig that. But I mean, it's interesting that, like, I feel like if I would try to impart that on students a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's again, there's no right or wrong way to do it, but it just helps, at least the way I came up with, when you just have what you have, and you really learn that and that sound, and then you can understand, like, oh, well, this is how I can apply this to, further down the line, or this, and then you kind of start to broaden your perspective on things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes sense too. I mean, when you're a student, you want to just try stuff too. It's funny. I gave you the mug with me and my kid on it. I should give you the Superman mug. Sorry, dude.
That's cool, man. Yeah. We'll maybe at the break we'll switch.
All right, we'll switch it up. We'll wash them. Like when you're in school, you want to just try stuff. You want to learn things. So like wanting to try everything that's in there. I mean, I've told this story before. When the first time we went to Blackbird Studios, they walked us into the room, and it was like the shelves went up. You were in like that episode of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just like, look at all that gear. It just goes for miles. So, of course, we had to try everything on everything. And after 4 days, we didn't have one song mixed, So it's a good lesson, rather expensive lesson, but it was a good one to learn on. And, so you want to try these things, you want to experience them. But the truth is, to your point too, it's like you don't really experience it until you work with it for a while too.
Right.
You're just getting a very cursory experience, just quick in one time.
And I mean, kind of like what we were saying before we got started. I mean, the people who really matter don't care.
Right.
Like the people who are buying your music or listening to your music or whatever, the majority of them don't care if you used a 57 or a 47 or a 251. They don't care.
What do they care about? What do people, what is the universal thing that everybody responds to?
Does it feel good? Does it make them feel something? I don't. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that it makes them feel good. But in the end, it's like, do they feel something? Do they feel anything? That's all that really matters.
Right.
I mean, and that's the interesting thing. Like, Kim and I, my wife, we talk all the time. I mean, she's like, she loves music, but I mean, and she'll say this. She back when we met when she was in college, she had like tapes of just like live like shows of bands she was digging.
Yeah.
Like they sounded horrible, but
she loved them.
Loved them.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, man. The majority of people, they just want something that they love, like
there's like an experience connection in music. Like if it reminds you of a time, a happy moment, or if it feels good on its own, which I think there are things that just feel good, but even the things that feel good to us probably remind us of something at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what, I mean, I can still put on albums that I grew up with, you just drop the needle or hit play, whatever medium it is. And it just takes me back, or just takes me somewhere, it's like, takes me out of where I am at that moment, and that's, I don't know, that's, to me, that's always been just the beauty of music and art.
Yeah. From synths to strings to studio guitars, Complete 15 has it all. Native Instruments' flagship bundle gives you everything you need to create pro music in any genre, with cutting-edge instruments like Contact 8, Massive X, battery, guitar rig, and session guitarist for lifelike electric and acoustic guitar parts. Use our code ROCK10 for 10% off at nativeinstruments.com, or get started with Complete Start totally free. So let's see. So you don't have your studio in a separate place now. Right. Did that also remove a little bit of your drive time?
Oh,
did you lose some like car jam time in that process? Have you got like new places you're discovering that you listen to things?
Yeah. Well, okay.
That are different to you?
Yeah. I mean, interesting. Well, my drive time, it depends on what I'm driving. So if I'm driving my Mustang.
Oh, that's right. You got fun cars.
I'm not listening to music because you can't really hear it all that well. So, the engine and the exhaust are
that's where the crappy sounding tapes really cut through.
Yeah, well, it's kind of fun. Yeah, if you can hear it in there, then you're definitely good. So
right.
If you can hear the dobro in there, you're good. Yeah.
This tape is part of my mid-range collection.
Exactly.
This one's part of my bass collection.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have different spots for listening to music, but like it's funny, when I'm in the gym, I'm actually just listening to like audiobooks actually.
Really? Do you do the wireless earbuds? Do you do like the pro earbuds? Or?
Yeah, no, I just have like some, I don't even know what they are. I had like the Beats for a while.
The big ones that go over the top of your head?
No. Like, just the kind that kind of wrap around your ear, and
sort of workout friendly.
Yeah, but those didn't last too long. They lasted a pretty decent amount of time, but they got like wet.
What kind of audiobooks do you like? Do you like fiction, or do you like like just insightful nonfiction stuff or how to?
Well, I just finished The Shining, actually.
Oh,
recently.
nice, man.
You're
about to go lift a weight and you get startled by something.
Yeah.
Drops on your head.
But the funny thing is, I'd never read the book before.
I don't think I read it either. I don't think I did, actually. I remember the movie very well.
Right. Well, the book is completely different than the movie. Like, it was wildly different. It's
probably great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's amazing. So,
Stephen King's a trip, man.
Yeah.
I read, he's got a book on writing that I read that was just amazing. So great.
That's actually in my list of things to check. Isn't it called It's On Writing?
I think so, yeah. It's really good.
Yeah.
So it got me interested in reading his stuff again. I got to go back and read the oldies.
Yeah. So that was awesome. And then right now I'm checking out Lord of the Rings.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I did. I read that too.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So anyway, but I have
Rockstars. This is our new direction for the podcast. We just talk about fiction and books,
book reviews,
book reviews. Although it's funny that you bring that up because I've done now in the past couple of years I've done 2 audiobooks. And I was just listening to them on my drive yesterday because they're finally out. And it's
really
one of them is Cocaine and Rhinestones. And the other is Wild West Village, Lola Kirk.
Oh, sweet, man.
I wasn't prepared to drop the links in, but I can put those in there if you're curious. But have you? It is kind of fun to do just voice sometimes. It's like you just you can't hide anything. You really got to be making sure that there's not something weird going on in the recording.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so it's funny because I had a friend of Kim's sister was working on an audiobook or wanting to years ago. And so Kim's like, oh, you should have her, you should have her come by the studio. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to work. You don't understand. Like, the studio where I was cool, if you're recording some rock or some funk or something like that, but I wouldn't even have recorded like a string quartet in there because there was some noise around, in the building. So audiobook was definitely not in the cards then. So
well, and I've got that sort of dead room ISO room in my studio. It's really good for that. So I was sort of excited to put that to use. And then I will, because we get to nerd out like this, I'll say the two pieces of gear that were just crucial for that, or maybe 3, was the Lewitt LCT 640 TS microphone, which is a very quiet,
right.
Newer mic that's similar to like an AKG 414. So that just sounded great for the voice. And then I had one really nice Klotz mic cable that would reach all the way. I skipped the patch band. Came straight through. And then the Grace Design M108, or maybe I used the 201 on that actually on its way in, but it just sounded so good.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome.
Okay, well, let's talk about your new studio. So you set up, let's see, we've talked about other things on previous episodes, but I know that you shared with me, you had done some Soulive cinematics, in fact. You did an Atmos mix at one point.
I did.
And you set up your new studio. I think you told me you had learned a couple of lessons around that or something.
Yeah, well, the new studio setup, I have less speakers now.
You decided to go back to 2?
Yeah, 4, but 2, essentially 2, and then my Oratones, in the back. But this was another conversation that actually I had with Ronan when we were down in Hartford. And the professors there and everyone there, the whole Atmos thing kind of came up, and I only like to do things I'm passionate about. So
right.
I wasn't really passionate about Atmos.
That's cool. I think that's a great takeaway. Actually, it's a great way to. I feel like that's one of those things that we need to remind ourselves of, because I do talk about that in the show. This idea of like, if you find a way to pursue your own true voice in something, my theory is that you're likely to make your best work, and therefore people are likely to respond to it more than something else.
Yeah. I mean, For me, yeah, for sure. For everything that I do, the decisions I make now all revolve around time. What am I spending my time doing? What am I putting my energy into? And I love recording. I love mixing. I love mastering. And I love the time that I spend doing those things. I just felt that the Atmos side of things, one, didn't get me excited, and I was spending time on it. It was just taking away my time doing other things I enjoy doing.
Right.
So, that's that. With that said, it was a lot of fun. I love learning, and I could see the benefits of it in certain aspects of entertainment. Now, when Ronan and I were talking about it, the idea of possibly streaming services, or at least one of them, making it mandatory to provide an Atmos version or mix, whatever you want to call it, I feel is a little, hey, if it happens, and I'll deal with it at that point.
Right.
And however that is, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But I know how to do it. I'm not going to say I was great at it, but
I think your mixes sounded great, man.
Yeah. Well,
but it's a funny thing. It's like, and we don't have to make this a whole episode on Atmos, especially since you've pivoted away. But like the experience of flipping between stereo and Atmos and hearing the difference in the headphones, for example, is really interesting to me to hear it. But more often than not, I mean, it can sound great, but more often than not, it's not like to your point, it's not really a massive difference. I don't think it's the kind of difference that wouldn't make me like or a song versus not liking the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It doesn't change the feel of it in that way necessarily.
Right. I mean, people make the argument of, well, there was mono, and then we all moved to stereo, so it's the same thing.
Right.
I feel the biggest difference is that when we moved from mono, I say we, like I wasn't even, whatever, but
yeah.
We moved from mono to stereo. Artists were able to take advantage. They took advantage of stereo. They were able to create with that in mind.
Right.
Obviously, like a lot of early stereo recordings, like at least looked at through today's lens, are kind of crazy because, the drums are way over here, and but they were experimenting.
Yeah.
But they were able to use that.
But you're thinking of Hendrix, I know too.
Well, of course,
right? And then that stuff was cool. Like the wild guitar thing going around was actually like a great thing to hear.
Right. It was awesome. Okay. So that's great. Now you're telling me with Atmos, well, it's the same thing as when we moved from mono to stereo. No, it's not, because I'll buy that and I'll be down with it when you have an artist who's specifically creating
right
for that medium, that technology. Maybe it's happening a little bit, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Like back in the mono days, or moving to stereo, it's not like all of a sudden they were reissuing everything and now this is in stereo,
right.
But that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever, that's fine, it's cool. Just not my cup of tea.
Also, I will say, I mean, and I think most people probably feel this way, but the leap to Atmos is a much bigger commitment than going from one speaker to two speakers.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like the setup. It sounds, and I haven't done it, so I can't speak from experience. But it sounds to those of us who haven't done it yet like, wow, that's a lot of work, or it's a lot of speakers, or it's a more complex session setup, and you need the complexity of the apps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look,
more rocket sciencey.
sitting in that seat, listening, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool. When you're like, it's pretty awesome. But again, the majority of people who matter aren't going to come to my studio and sit in that seat and experience it that way.
Right. They're going to hear it in the headphones in the gym.
Right. Which is, hey, that's cool,
Is that the majority of your audience? They go to the gym and wear headphones?
I guess maybe that's cool.
Well, so now there's some really cool stuff that you are passionate about that you've been diving into. So let's pivot over to Charlie Hunter and Ella Finegold, because you sent me a clip of that stuff and I was like, this is badass. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So maybe tell us who they are and what this is all about. And I'd love to hear about like the kind of funky 4-track stuff you're getting into to get all these sounds.
Yeah. So Ella and Charlie been old friends of mine. And one day out of the blue, Ella hit me up and said, hey, I'm going to make this album with Charlie, who they'd never met in person. But so that's a whole other thing, which is.
And are they Massachusetts?
No, well, Ella is, but Charlie's down in North Carolina.
And Charlie, I've seen him play here. He plays like a 7-string guitar, so you got like bass and guitar all mixed into one instrument.
Right.
And how about Ella?
Ella is incredible guitarist, and she really focuses on rhythm guitar. But overall, just an insane guitarist. But she plays. She has like this inverted tuning, and I always forget how it's actually laid out. But if you pick up, you can pick up her guitar, and I just want to play like a sharp 9 or something, so you put your fingers there, you play it, and it's kind of it, but not exactly. So anything that you're used to playing on guitars sounds just completely different. Usable, but it's a wild tuning. So those two combined is just kind of crazy. Anyway, so she hit me up and said, want to make this recording, just duo, and she had a very particular sound she was looking for. And we went out to Pilot, in Housatonic, which is a crazy, crazy studio.
So Housatonic is like Western and Southern Mass?
Berkshire, in the Berkshires, yeah.
So I was at Kent School in Kent, Connecticut for a couple of years before I got kicked out. And it was on the Housatonic River.
Yeah.
So I think, we had these different clubs. I think maybe I was a Housatonic.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Actually, I've been to that school. Actually,
it's probably a gorgeous campus. I remember it was beautiful.
Yeah.
In my rearview mirror, it was good looking.
Through the tears.
I didn't have a rearview mirror. I was probably just, riding a bus out of there. They just put me on a bus.
Oh goodness, that's hilarious.
Well, so that's cool. So at Pilot Studios, now there's a quality to the sound. Partly. We've got a version of this in the playlist. So Roxas, we have Al's music, and you can just click, scroll down when you want and listen to some of these records. But it sounds, there's a hardness to like the drums and like the bass and the whole thing that's just great. And it's funny because it sounds very looped in a way, but I know you as somebody who doesn't, plays it that way and doesn't loop things sometimes. So I'm curious about how all that comes together.
So, originally, Ella had in mind that they were just going to play, and she was going to use the old school drum machine. Is it not the Maestro? Anyway, whatever.
Okay.
The base. It's Sly Stone made it famous, or
okay.
Through.
I'll do some side googling.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, so that was the plan. but she realized that she wanted, like, as they're playing, like maybe the drums to drop out and come back in. Well, the drum machine, the Rhythm King.
Yeah, the Maestro Rhythm King,
Rhythm
MRK2.
Exactly. Well, it has a foot switch that you can, like, stop and start kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's, you stop it and, there it is.
Right,
So that wasn't going to work. So we thought about, well, we'll just record the Rhythm King in, and then you can play to it. We tried that, and that wasn't the vibe either. So finally, well, we have drums in the room, and Charlie can play drums. So every song on the album, I should say this: every song doesn't have drums, but a lot of them do. But every song, first of all, they started out as just kind of like ideas. They were kind of tossing each other before the session, but a lot of it was being written on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So they go out and record some, the guitars together, most times with a click track, and then Charlie would go back in and record the drums. So rarely were the drums cut first. And then there was some massaging of the drums that had to be done.
So it was like the sort of click track with guitars, or some sort of drum machine thing with guitars, and then drums were played on.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's
got a great pocket. I mean,
yeah.
Sounds like that's a two people that pretty well understand pocket.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, I mean, it was just amazing to see them. Like I said, they'd never hung out in person before, except, well, Charlie came up like the night before, and they, kind of hung out at Ella's place.
But they knew each other's music.
Yeah, exactly. But just for me to witness them just in a room, a big, massive studio, and just separated by like a gobo, and just there was two mics on, one mic on each amp, and they were just vibing out. I mean, there was one song that I think we cut down to, maybe it's a little under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But the full version was like 20 minutes, and they were just vibing out, like just bouncing out ideas off of each other in real time, and it was super exciting.
That's
just
pretty wild.
Super creative.
And
people.
so you're sort of seeing this through glass in the control room, looking in too.
Yeah. I was just grooving, like.
Yeah. And did you find yourself in, production and engineering and doing all the button pushing too?
Well, somewhat. Yeah. I mean, again, like there wasn't, Ella had a particular sound she wanted in mind.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want any room sound. It was literally just, I put like I can't remember. There were two RCAs. Like one was a 77. I can't remember which the other one was, and we just put them on the amps, and those were the only mics.
Oh, both ribbons?
Yeah, both ribbons.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then is there like a console worth mentioning or something like that?
There's a console. There was they had a massive SSL. What was like 4,000, right? I mean, it was like 72 inputs or something like that. It was Tony Bennett's.
Right.
We didn't use it because it was kind of like, literally, I think I was at...
Not because it was Tony Bennett's.
Not because, no. Yeah, no. And we were, yes. Just because it just was kind of ridiculous. Like,
right,
I was at I was pushing 8 inputs, like, and I didn't even use like one was like a percussion mic, or whatever. One was, on the drums. There was I started off with one mic on the drums for one song, and then they were like, "Oh, we need a little bit more." So I was like, "Okay, let's put another mic on."
Like the classic Al Evans,
mic technique, exactly.
Right?
And it sounded great. But
can you tell us a little bit more about what your one mic setup was when you first did it?
Well,
at Isotope, mixing and mastering just got even even smarter. Velvet gives you silky vocals with sibilant slurn de-essing, dynamic tone shaping, and D-click, all in one plugin. And Ozone 11 now includes clarity, upward compression, and AI-powered stem focus to help you master like a pro. Use code ROCK10 for 10% off Ozone or any of iZotope's incredible plugins at iZotope.com.
I used my EV666 and just pointed it at the snare drum, side of the snare drum, kind of right over the kick drum.
You can even do hand gestures right at the camera so everybody can see it. But so yeah.
So yeah,
because now we're video.
Yeah, that's
and if
right,
you're listening, rock stars, we're on YouTube. So
yeah, exactly.
hop on over. And
hop on over.
Al's a good-looking dude.
Thank you, Ed. So okay, say I'm sitting at the drum set here. I'm playing like this, and this is your microphone. This is a large microphone for this example, but it still works. So here's my foot here.
You might have to pretend all the drums are up high for it to see
drums are up
it.
high.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah, there you go.
Here's your kick drum, and here's your snare drum. And basically the microphone is right over the kick drum, pointing at the snare drum, side of the snare drum. And
which one's the microphone? The water bottle?
The water bottle.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And stay hydrated.
And stay hydrated. and the mic, this EV666 is the cool looking, looks like a 50s futuristic dynamic mic with a on-off switch on top.
No on-off switch, actually.
Okay.
It looks like there's a switch on it, but no on. But you're describing it perfectly though. It's from the 50s, great sounding mic. And so we just started with that because they were like, we just want to minimal miking. Cool. Recorded the song and someone asked, oh, can we have more? It was either snare drum or whatever they wanted. And it's like, well, yeah, I can do that, but we're pretty much stuck with this sound. It's one microphone.
Yeah.
So after that song, I stuck the EV in the kick drum, and then the 57 on snare, and that was it. So cool. The song that I sent you was with the kick and snare.
It sounds killer. I mean, it's like the drums are just so hard sounding. You know? Yeah,
man. Yeah.
What about the mixing process? Is there much to mention in terms of taking those two mics and sort of dialing them in to get the kind of quality that you hear in the final?
There was a little bit going on in the mixing process to get that sound, but not much. I mean that's kind of how I like to operate, is that when I leave a tracking situation, I'm like 85% there, 90%.
Yeah.
So the sound was there, you know.
But I know you've done, yeah, right. So you try and put it down when you're recording it. I know you've used the Zulu. That's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, exactly. So actually, I did use Zulu on the album on my mix bus as a hardware insert.
Really?
Yeah, and I just like crushed it. I just like went into it pretty hard.
Just the whole mix, or that's
mix.
sort of like a parallel.
No, the whole mix. No,
wow, really?
No,
that's
just
cool.
like literally, it was like, you know, used it as a
almost like your compressor or your yeah, exactly. And then the way the Zulu works is it's a mono in, mono out per box, or it's a stereo in, stereo out.
It's
so you can run a mix.
I guess you can call it it's multi-mono, I guess, or
right.
you know.
But you can put it left and right at the same time.
Right,
okay,
right,
cool.
Right.
That's cool.
It's a great, the mixing process. It took us a while. Again, I worked really hard with Ella on that. She knows exactly, or she knew exactly what she wanted out of sonically, and specifically, it had to sound a certain way coming out of her NS10s. Like she just knows, and it had nothing to do with the NS10s themselves, other than that those are the speakers that she's most familiar with.
Right. And does she run them with a sub too, or just the speakers?
No.
Cool.
No.
So she just knows
No, just the speakers. So
Yeah.
the sub test actually, it was interesting. That first song that's on the album, which will be out by the time this comes out, the entire album will be out.
Okay, cool.
But as of right now, it's a single.
And it's in the playlist.
It's in the playlist, so check it out. I went a little too hard on the low end of it. And that's kind of what I took from what they were looking for. Like, sometimes things just get lost in translation, or not. You just hear something a certain way, from a note from somebody. So anyway,
also low end's kind of fun.
Low end, yeah, it's fun, yeah, for sure. But the sub test was done in her car,
right?
So, so for her, it was a combination of checking on NS10s. And checking on in our car, and then once we found the sweet spot, I knew, okay, cool, this is the sound of. So we spent a lot of time on that first song, like a lot of mixes.
Yeah. And I find that's usually the way. Like the first song takes a while, and then you get into a groove, and then the next songs go easier. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I think, we're just. Everything we learn on the first song goes onto these next ones, but in reality, sometimes we just move on to the next ones and we just stop making it so complicated. We just move on. We start mixing real quick, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it is a combo. But like, to do that too, back in the day, of course, it's like, you bump the mix to a cassette and then go listen to it in these different places or in the car. Then it was the CD. How do you get to your mix to all the different listening spots today?
I mean, the majority. So in my studio, I have my Blue Sky Sat 12s with a 15-inch sub, and then I have my Auratone 5Cs back behind me that they're just on a shelf with my vinyl. And I know I do the heavy lifting, a lot of the heavy lifting with the Blue Sky, the Blue Skies. And I just hit a button, and I can just immediately just listen on the Auratones, and I just know if they sound good. I don't check anywhere else,
Right, but like if you're gonna take it over to Ella so she can check in those two places.
So okay, thank you. Okay, Sampley.
Right.
Yeah. So originally the thought was that she would come out and we would sit there and mix together. Which I rarely do these days, honestly. I mean, like, it's been a long time since I've done that. I feel that it's great when people can come out and help make some decisions, more so on with editing than actual, like, making decisions on sonics, because they don't know my speakers. Like,
right, and also the sonic decision, often there's no decision to be made until the mix is done, or almost done. It's like, here it is.
Yeah.
Now respond.
Yeah, exactly.
And then even then it gets a little tricky. You hope they're not too extreme.
Yeah. So she knew exactly, she knows what music sounds like coming out of her NS10s.
Yeah.
So, and even the low end, she's just like, no, there's a certain, she has a certain way of describing what so that's the other thing I have to like kind of figure, like, okay, how to filter that, through, okay, I understand now what she's talking about. Cool.
Right. Because
everybody has a certain way of describing what they're hearing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, a lot of what it's like that with clients that I work with. It's like that with my buddies in the bands they're in. And I kind of love it. I kind of love doing the records with my friends where everybody's listening in different places, because all their comments are coming back, and now I know. I'm like, oh, that's, I might know to ask where he listened to it on, but like that. Oh, that's the sound of. That's probably what it sounds like in his car, that model car,
right?
And then occasionally get somebody who doesn't know that the thing they listened to it on probably wasn't the one to give feedback from,
right?
Because that does happen too.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, man, like over the years, just me being open to people's feedback and just like, okay, they're used to hearing it. I don't care what cool. You listen to all your music on the iPhone and like, that's how you're giving me notes for a mix. Cool, whatever.
Yeah.
All of that has actually helped me become better at what I do, better mixer, just cool. Try like, again, it's your record, like maybe like if you're asking for this crazy movie, like, hey, cool. I may not have done that myself, but it's your record. Cool. Let's just, I'll make it happen. And within reason, obviously, a lot of times. But,
right. Well, sometimes unreasonable is kind of cool. I mean, it's like, in other words, you say it's made you a better mixer. It makes me think about why that is when we do that stuff. And I guess the thought that comes to mind is it's not really helpful. I mean, it's nice when somebody tells us we're just great and we nailed it and it's perfect, but it doesn't really help us move forward. What helps us move forward is when people make us, give us an opportunity to do stuff we weren't going to normally do. And then we get to explore it and discover it,
Yeah. That's what I always say, man. It's when I'm finished, I deliver a mix or a master, and I always thank when I'm working with people, thank me. It's like, it's a team effort, complete team effort. I'm not. Yeah. Maybe if I'm working on my solo album and completely all by myself and making all the decisions myself, okay, but I don't know. I listen to a lot of the solo stuff. I wish I did have some help from somebody. I wish I was listening to someone. I wish someone was giving me some comments that, I may have agreed or disagreed with, because they probably would have been better albums, but whatever.
I've found that too. The more I'm out playing music now, doing the band thing with everybody, the more I've appreciated what I have brought to every record I've brought by sitting in the control room and listening to the speakers and always, responding and hearing stuff right away. Not having somebody there doing that, you become really aware of like, oh wow. Like, cause I'll go play something and then I'll go in later and I might hear it in that moment, or I might even not hear it till a little later, but then I hear where parts aren't quite, where they might be clashing, or like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. Or if I was just producing that, I would have picked up on that right away and I would have suggested it. And, which is a cool thing about collaborating with people. Although it's also interesting to think about how when you're producing and you're trying to communicate something to somebody who's out there playing, it can be tricky. And sometimes they just don't seem to get it, and I can imagine, I'm like trying to imagine myself, okay, so if I was out there and somebody was trying to communicate it to me, would I just be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
but
yeah, I hear you.
And I've had that happen before, actually. I remember.
Oh yeah. That's all learning,
It's all learning, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so that record's coming out. Now, I did see Ella, maybe you shared it or maybe I went and searched it, but I found her Instagram, or maybe you'd shared it with me. And it's all these great clips of just like, it looked like her sitting at her studio, but then you sent me a clip recently. I was like, oh wait, maybe that was Al's studio. Are you guys doing some similar setups? Are you guys messing around with the 4-track or something like that?
So I just finished mixing a solo album for her. And that, she hit me one day with because I'm no longer on social media or anything, so I don't know what's happening, So she sent me.
Well, you're happening, man. You're happening.
Yeah, man. I'm trying. She sent me a video that she had posted on IG of this groove, and it was just a video of a 4-track, So she tells me like, yeah, I just dug out my 4-track and I'm just like laying down like these vignettes, whatever. And I'm thinking about doing an album. I was like, oh, that's great. So we started talking about like the reasons why she chose the 4-track, just to get away from the computer. So she has like this 4-track set up in a separate room, just with some monitors, the 4-track, and her guitar and a bass and an MPC. That's it. And so she starts sending me video after video. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. So I was inspired. One, because she wanted to, have me mix all this stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I should probably get myself a 4-track so I can help dump tapes,
Right.
like use a direct outs, whatever. So I found a mint condition Tascam 464. And like I shared with you, at the end of my day, and sometimes just other times I'll just go down there, but generally speaking, the end of the day, I turn my computer brain off, and I've just been using the 4-track, and it's been amazing. It's funny because I've used 4-tracks like when I was younger. It's really interesting to use them now, knowing what I know. Like, I just know what I'm doing at this point now. And so to take this kind of knowledge into just messing around with a 4-track, and it's just, I'm just having so much fun.
Yeah.
And this is what it's all about, just having fun. Just like I'll play some drums. And so what I've been doing is like, finished, it's like, okay, maybe I'll pick up the guitar or bass. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, immediately let's lay some drums down. I'll start playing. No click track. No, I'm just not even thinking about anything. I'm just playing. Okay, I'm done playing. Cool. Pick up the bass and just go for it. No punches. No, just one take.
But that first track is maybe drums with a click track.
That
so you feel like you're playing with something.
No. I think maybe that was just a count off. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, so I'll just count off on a hi hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. Just so when I'm hit record, when I'm playing bass or guitar, there's just something there to count me in. It's been so much fun. So I have all like these ideas for the new Soulive album that we're gonna.
Oh, that's great. But you'll play drums too. You put like drums, bass, and guitar down.
Yeah.
For sketches. But which order do you find that you like to put stuff down? What sort of works for you? And do you put stuff down where you feel like that really is glued together when you're done, or do you sketch stuff accepting that this isn't quite where the pocket will end up being, but this is a great sketch?
Well,
because I feel like these are things I grapple with, and I'm guessing other people do too.
There's a perfectionist side of me that is always there. So I never like to call things demos or sketches generally, but I've been trying to change my mindset when thinking of these like 4-track recordings. One, just knowing that, well, these are just ideas for right now in my mind. These are ideas for the new Soulive album. So I'm kind of being very loose about everything about it. You know? And again, like I'm not. It's a little different when I'm like working in the box, like writing, because I can choose whatever starting point I want. If I set up a click track, okay, cool. I can start with guitar. I can start with bass. I can start with keys. I can start with drums. Whatever it may be. It's a little different in the 4-track realm. Also, like in the box, you can loop things. You can edit. You can go back and fix things. This and that. And this is why I'm saying here, all of this is just one take. Clams and all, whatever it is. It's just really just to get the idea across. And again, I'm just having a blast doing it. It's so much fun. You just like play some drums, and then okay, I'm gonna pick up the bass and I'm gonna hit and record, and I'm starting. Now, with that said, when I say one take, maybe that's a little misleading because there's been times where I have this idea in mind, record the bass down. Okay, cool. I'm going to double up with guitar because I just love that sound, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm also trying to just leave more of the harmonic element out of it just so I can allow Neil and Crass to kind of hear it their own way.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'll start playing guitar. Say if it's a 2-minute idea, like whatever, it's 2 minutes long. And I get to, a minute 30 and I mess something up. Going back to the top. Back to the top. I'm getting a full take, I mean, I can punch in, of course you can, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to lay it down. And it's just been a lot of fun, again, at the end of the day when working in front of a computer, and listening and working with music in that fashion, just to, I just go into a cassette 4-track, it's fun. I don't know, and then it's allowing me to, I've noticed I've been working a little differently now because of it, like during the day, I don't know, I just hear things a little bit differently and it's fun. It makes me appreciate both, you know, because with a cassette, it's or any tape, I guess you would say, is unpredictable. It can be, like you do a bunch of takes and you're going to lose some fidelity and all this kind of, so you just kind of, or, you hit it too hot and you hit playback in the 4-track.
Yeah, it's got a little crunch in there.
And it's like, whoa, that's interesting. Cool. I'm going to go with that. Or no, I'm going to do it again. And then when you get back into Pro Tools or whatever you're working with, it's like, every day is the same, it's that's great too, So it's awesome. It's just fun, And so then I'm trying to bring a little bit of that unpredictability into Pro Tools, and how can I spice things up a bit, make things exciting like that.
I can totally dig that.
Yeah.
Are you ready to launch your career in the audio or entertainment business? SAE Institute Nashville, right here in the heart of Music Row, offers hands-on programs to prepare you for the industry. From studio production and live sound to audio for film and a whole lot more. You'll learn by doing, working with professional-grade gear alongside experienced industry pros. If you're more into the business side of entertainment, SAE's Entertainment Business Program teaches essential basics like contracts and promotion to help you navigate the industry. With diploma, associate, or bachelor's degrees, there's a path for everyone. Plus, Career Services supports graduates as they take the next step. Want to see it for yourself? Immerse yourself in Nashville's exciting music scene and book a tour today at nashville.sae.edu or call 615-244-5848. Howdy, Rockstars. We're back now for the jam session, a.k.a. the second half of the show. My guest today is Alan Evans, joining us here at Ready to Rock Video Studios in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Alan, you ready to rock, dude?
Man.
Are you ready to jam?
I'm ready to jam. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to do it all, man.
Right on, dude. Well, so it's fun talking about the 4-track stuff. I really appreciate that right now, this concept of, you kind of spend a lifetime and a career accumulating studio and getting more things, and you have it all, and then you hit a point, at least I know I do, it sounds like you do, where you're like, boy, simplicity is awfully nice. And for me, that was that has been this little Spire Studio battery powered recording device, which is like 8 tracks, maybe 16, I think sometimes, but and it's like a digital version of that, but it's portable, so I take it to the beach.
So that's what you sent me, that tune. Yeah, dude. Yo, that was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I didn't have much chance to talk about it, but I took a month off and I just like snuck out of town. I didn't do a single social media post at all. I just turned it all off. Well, I didn't turn it all off, but I didn't do anything. I went down to Costa Rica and went surfing every day, and then just like took my guitar to the beach and write some goofy song, have some fun.
Yeah, exactly.
About coconuts. You know?
Yeah.
And it was great, man. It really reset my thinking on stuff too. It makes me appreciate writing from simplicity and then benefiting from the recording studio for, that's where complexity can come in to do things that can be really cool. It's like it's like having the creative brain and then putting on the engineer brain or something.
Right.
And even your discussion of Atmos, it's like maybe that's a good place where Atmos comes into a picture. It's like, yeah, when creative brain turns, and I'm not saying there's no creative in it, but like when you're ready for all engineer brain, or just have somebody else, take care of that for you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with that.
Yeah. Well, groovy. And then, and so like, yeah, when you do the 4-track thing, you're even just recording onto the tape, and then you can always play that back, bring it back in over to the computer and dump it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've done that.
Well, there's more to it too, right? Because the 4-track there's like a crunch to it and stuff.
There's definitely it has a sound, for sure. And that's actually helps. Hearing that back has been kind of like helping inspire. It inspires like the next layer, like, oh, well, again, maybe I put like some drums down, I hear it back, whoa, that's got some crunch. Well, that's going to inspire how I play that riff,
right?
Or maybe just change the riff altogether, to fit that kind of vibe. So
yeah.
Yes.
And when you're doing that, do you find that a couple of mics on the drums or one mic on the drums is the jam?
Okay. I'm going to be completely honest with you as well. So I sent I sent a couple of these ideas to Ella, because Neil knew about my secret. My brother Neil knew about my secret.
Right.
Anyway, so I sent a couple of these things to Ella. Oh my goodness, like these sounds so amazing. Like, yeah, cool, right on. So she came over to my place we did sit together to mix her solo stuff.
Yeah.
The 4-track stuff. She walks in, she's looking around the studio. Didn't really say anything, but I know she was thinking. I'm sitting looking at my monitor, and I have my S1 and all this kind of stuff. Off to my left is a Roland TD-07.
Is that one of the Roland virtual drum kits?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I use either Addictive Drums or Easy Drummer.
No shit, man.
Now, I have never been, I'm not going to say I've never been a fan. I've never had a need for something like that.
Yeah.
Or want, because tons of drums, whatever.
Right.
One day, when we were kind of like thinking about my mixing and my situation in my room there, I wanted something that I could just use for writing, just writing some ideas, something simple. I didn't want to mic up a drum set. I don't want a drum set in that room, because all of a sudden it turns into something else.
Right.
So I said, let me try. Okay. So I got one of these things. A buddy of mine at Sweetwater, hit him up, hooked me up. Cool.
And it's like one of the things where you have a kick and a hi-hat pedal and
they're
little
pads.
rubber pads.
Yeah, with
like
cymbals, the whole thing.
But not the kind that has like the springy drum heads. More like just the rubber pads. Or
no, they're like kind of like the meshy kind of heads.
Great.
Yeah, it took a little while to get used to it, but anyway, so I got a Addictive Drummer and Easy Drummer, whatever. And I started messing around. I was like, man, it sounds like me. It feels like me. Cool. All right. So with
the cool thing is you would know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. If it wasn't, I'd send it back. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, so I just have it there. It's just fun. It's easy. It's different.
That's
and
great.
So check this out. So I started recording like these drums. So I just go, all of these drum
app things or whatever. They're plugins, but they also have like standalones,
Right.
So I just opened up the standalone, and it just runs out of my my Metric Halo interface, just mono, into one of the tracks on the 4-track. Bass is plugged directly into the machine. Guitar directly into the machine.
Nice.
No amps, no anything, So my idea, I'm going to do this. I'm saying this right now. It's happening. I want to record an EP down there with 4 people. I'll play drums. I want to have someone play keys, bass, and guitar. We're all going to plug directly into the 4-track and monitor on headphones. So if you walk down into my room, you'll hear nothing. You'll just see these four people just playing, and it'll be like a silent EP,
That's great.
But anyway, I'm going to do it.
And is it going to be and hopefully it's like really tight quarters, like everybody's like right on top of each other.
Yeah, totally. And I think the best thing about it is I'll film it, and then I'll release it. I'll put it out on YouTube, and it'll be silent.
You got to check out. There you go.
Nothing.
And then you got to wait for the. It'll be like the first video comes out with no sound, and then later the video comes out with the sound.
Exactly.
You got to check out this cat named Peter Valek. Vape Noise, I think he's like a really out there artist in does a lot of noise kind of stuff, but the imagery of his studio and his kind of noise junk art all together, but it would be like a video, an iPhone video of the whole ensemble jammed into a room playing together and falling all over each other. And it's really, really entertaining.
Totally.
The sound sometimes could be a little bit, you might want to turn the speakers down. It's like crazy noises. Yeah. But and he uses a lot of AI stuff too, so he really dives right into that and creates all these crazy images.
That's cool.
What about that topic? Is that crossed your thought much, the idea of AI and how it intersects with music?
I one day, a friend of mine, this was before I dipped out of social media, posted something to the effect of, last night I did a deep dive into AI and like listened to like all this music. It was like some service that dropped recently. I can't remember the name of it.
One of these things where it makes the music for you, kind of thing.
Well, it looked similar to something like Spotify or Apple Music, and you could just like listen to and it had like all these artist names and whatever. But it was all AI, and you could like listen to different genres and this and that. So I checked out a few things. They were interesting. I mean, some of them were pretty wacky. Like, it was like something that kind of sounded like Fela Kuti, like Afrobeat, or it was like the Memphis soul kind of stuff or whatever. And like, some of it, I don't know, like the songs, like, how can I say, like nothing really grabbed me as like emotionally, like, and then like, just some of the sounds were just so wacky, like we're just like, okay. The thing about AI, man, is that I don't know. I don't have a problem. I know some people are kind of losing their minds over it.
Right.
I don't have a problem with it because it hasn't really affected my life at all, in terms of like the music side of things, the interest. I mean, like AI, as I guess as we know it at this point, it's not creating anything new. I mean, it's all like it's pulling from a
rehashing.
I mean, from a wide database, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, of previously recorded, produced music, but it's just pulling ideas out from, and it's not creating anything. So I understand that some, people are losing work because of it, you know, in certain fields.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I hear from people about
and
that.
that's definitely a drag, you know, but again, like it hasn't affected me.
Right. Well, it sounds like it also, I mean, part of the answer is, you know, it doesn't sound like there's any tool that is exciting and integrating into how you do things.
No, not that I can think of. No, I've tried a few, I guess now everything is kind of labeled as AI.
Right.
Where, you know, okay, if it's an EQ that kind of learns your
right
or applies a curve to your mix that's gonna make it sound, you know, like whatever. That's one thing, you know. But in terms of like creation, no, I haven't really. I have no need for anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. I sort of dabbled in that a tiny bit out of the, you know, the kind of novelty of it and checked it out. But just the sort of writing tools, you know, the Chat GPT stuff has been useful for me.
Man, look, I'll tell you, when I'm looking at my website right here, one day I decided to, as I do every maybe 5 or 10 years, I decide to just redesign it. I found some. I stumbled on a website that had of a person who had a really interesting. Their discography was laid out in a fashion I really dug. So I said, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna, you know, kind of redesign my discography."
Yeah, where you've got all the album covers.
Well, no. So if you go to actually that's cool. But if you actually hit discography there,
right?
Okay, whatever. It's not that exciting, but it's cool. Whatever. My previous discography was laid out completely differently. Okay. I looked at this person and I said, that's really smart. I like it. I just like it's just very simple.
Simplicity, right?
Yeah, simplicity.
Not necessarily clickable.
No, not clickable because because you know, if you really want to find it, you can
just copy the name.
You can check it out.
Yeah.
My point is, my previous discography was laid out completely differently, formatted completely differently. I like this person's. It was like, wow, that's really cool. So all I did, I went to ChatGPT. I took one line of my discography, you know, I said, hey, I took a line from each discography. I took a line from his discography, one artist and how it was laid out. And I said, please format my discography like this.
Did you copy the text or did you do a little screenshot?
No. I copied the text. I just copied the text, put it in there, and then I copied it and pasted my entire discography.
Right.
And put it in there. Under 5 seconds later, I had my entire discography formatted exactly like that. And I put it in really and opened up Squarespace and put it in there, and that was under 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That would have taken me days to do. So when I'm speaking of like,
there's a few things in your discography here, Al.
yeah, there's a couple.
There's a couple. Yeah, I need to I've been thinking about redoing my website for the studio. Same thing. Right?
Yeah.
It's like now it's time. I've just let it sort of sit like a placeholder, for ages.
So for something like that, ChatGPT was absolutely incredible. That saved me days of my life, you know, like within 5 seconds. It was just like.
Yeah, that's where I find it really useful too.
Cool.
It helps. It helps with all the stuff I have to do with the podcast and
yeah.
But anyway, we've talked about that.
Anyway,
everybody's probably heard that, tons already too, because I've even mentioned it. Let's talk about stuff that's exciting for you that's coming up. I think you are headed back to Floki Studios in Iceland.
I am in less than a week from now.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I should say the exact date.
No, you no need to. This will come out later. But
exactly. But 6 days from now, I'm on an airplane to Iceland.
That's wild.
To record a brand new Soulive album.
And you've been to Iceland in the winter months before?
Yes, 3 times in the winter, and this will be my first summer.
This is your like daylight all the time?
Yeah, daylight all the time.
Is it?
Yeah, exactly. By the time we get there, I think.
Now, how will that affect the session? Is there window light where the daylight will actually be spilling in while you're working, you think?
There is. So the cool thing about Floki, in the live room, there's actually quite a few windows and doors, and generally they have them covered up with I don't even know if it's like sound deadening or whatever, a treatment, maybe, but you can take them out. So recently, my buddy Wade, who like runs the studio, and was over there with Justin Bieber, and sent me a few photos from the session, and they had the just windows, like just sunlight coming in, and they had the live room kind of set up like more like a living room. Mm-hmm. They had a separate producer's desk in there, and they just couches. It looked really comfortable. I saw, it's like, when we're there, I want that light in there. It's just I love daylight, or just sunlight. Yeah. So, the one thing I do know about being in a place where there's the majority of the time is daylight. I was in Alaska years ago in July, and hanging out, and after a show or whatever, we were at someone's house having like food and this, and we're all hanging, and I just remember at one point I just felt strange, like I was like, what? Something just doesn't feel right. So I asked somebody like, yo, what time is it? It's like, oh, it's like 1:30 in the morning. I was like, nope, I have to go. Get me out of here, So that's the thing. Like, you have to be really careful of like, and we will, because we don't like. We have a set schedule when we're in the studio, and I always keep one. Generally, it's just 10 to 6.
Yeah,
and then after that,
I wonder if there's any other things that can kind of help trigger your. Just the daily cycle, biologically. I guess foods, maybe, exercise does for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's funny how, like, you just, when the night winds down, when things are lined, when the sun is setting at the right times and you've exercised and you've eaten, my body will just switch. It's like, all right, I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm going to stick to my schedule, like when I'm there.
You don't need to play guitar to sound like a pro. Session guitarist from Native Instruments delivers hundreds of lifelike guitar performances, both electric and acoustic, right inside Contact. Whether you're laying down rockin' electric riffs or warm acoustic beds, you'll get 154 electric guitar patterns and over 250 acoustic guitar grooves for strumming and fingerpicking, all grouped into song-ready presets. Dial in recording quality tone with built-in amps, cabinets, mic modeling, and effects. You can drag and drop MIDI into your tracks effortlessly, then tweak tempo, tuning, and feel to fit your song. And with new session packs on the way, you'll never run out of inspiration. Visit nativeinstruments.com, use the code ROCK10 for 10% off, and bring full guitar performances to your next track. No more blisters on your fingers. Have you had your opportunity in life to do the crazy schedules in the studios? Have you ever had that chance to, like, He's looking at me like, are you kidding, Lidge?
Dude, look at me. Look at this. This is because of that. Come on, man. Yeah, no, it's kind of funny. Kim and I were just talking recently about like some experiences I had like in my older previous studio of mine, where I remember mixing like it was like a 15 or 18 song album with somebody in a day, like a long. It was pretty much like, you know, just
that's fast mixing. Yeah.
Well, I wish it was. I mean, it was almost like a 24-hour day kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it was just long. You know. No, man. I mean, obviously. Yeah, I've done that. You know, I've been there, done that, and it's never gonna happen again.
What about on the creative side of it? What about when you're making music instead of feeling like you're, managing music, which is what engineering can feel like when the hours go too long. Engineering feels like I'm just sort of like managing something.
Well, man, so this is I was fooling myself years ago and thinking that staying up late at night, if you get to that point right before you're supposed to be dreaming, but you're still awake, that's where you're the most creative, and you're just staying up late and you're tired and all this kind of stuff, and that's the time, man, that is complete BS, man. Like what I've discovered is that sometimes my most creative time is in the morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
For a while, I was thinking that. Now, my most creative time is when I want it to be. It's mindset. It really is. So. But I think that's because we've talked about this a little bit. I've talked about this a little bit with people. I made a decision to completely change my life. So, and that's all mindset. You know what I mean? So yeah, you can make all these excuses or tell yourself like, oh, my most creative time is whatever. Sure. Okay. If you just tell yourself your most creative time is whenever you want it to be, it will be. Just like you're telling yourself my most creative time is 3 a.m. until 11, 11 in the morning or whatever. And So I don't know. I don't really subscribe to any of that stuff anymore. It's just what I decide, and when. So
remind us or tell us a little bit more about your changing your mindset. What was that all about for you?
Okay, well, literally right before the pandemic, COVID, whatever, I was playing a show in Hartford, Connecticut with some friends, just kind of get together, hang out, and I was backstage. There was an opening band. I'm sitting there. It's probably like 11 at night or whatever. I'm about to go on. The next morning, I had to go to a volleyball tournament for my daughter and Kim. We were taking, and it was in Connecticut, so I was going to drive home, go back, whatever. I'm sitting there, and literally a voice, like I heard a voice, and it just said, "You don't have to do this anymore." Like and the other thing it was like a vision. I saw a cup, like a cup with liquid flowing over the cup. And it was just like, that was, it wasn't a verbal explanation of what was going on, but I knew what it was. It was like the cup are just, like these, your life, you're trying to fill these with experiences, You're younger and you're trying to do everything and the cup was just overflowing. Like, you've done it. Like you don't have to do this anymore. Your cup is overflowed with experiences. So the next morning, I told Kim, we were driving to the volleyball tournament. I was like, I'm done touring. Like I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
Done. And she was like, cool. Now at that point in life, like the touring was my bread and butter.
Right.
So I was completely flipping.
This is sort of like up to 2018, 2019.
This was literally February 2020.
Wow.
So I was like, I'm done touring. And then the world
was done touring for you.
Yeah, exactly. So soon after that, and if I really wanted to look, I have the date of when I started my gym membership. I'd never been an out of shape person, but right. I wasn't necessarily in shape. I was like in good shape for someone who toured all the time, but not great.
Right.
With that, I said, I'm changing my life, so I started hitting the gym. My son, who just earned his master's degree
as a strength and conditioning coach.
Oh, really? Right on.
Helped me like kind of start building a program and this and that. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but it's a big part of my life, how I live my life. You know what I mean? And it's interesting because Kim and I were just talking about this. For a little while, I kind of dipped out of touring, right? So I'd see people every once in a while and people would comment. I'm like, man, Al, you look, wow, you know, and they kind of joke, you know, give me little jabs because whatever, you know. But now hey, look, if how I look, it's not about how I look. I don't, you know, that's not the goal.
Right.
But I feel good.
Yeah.
But if how I look makes you want to, or inspires you to ask me some questions about what I'm doing and how you can, you know, get there.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm all about it. Let's talk, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I look, this is the,
I think it can help on sessions. I think it's just like being healthy and like vibrant actually just helps infuse the session with the people you're working with.
Well, so this is the thing, man. Like we talk about mindset, but we also talk about, or I talk about the idea of what an engineer or someone in the music business should, I hate to say look like, but if you have an idea of what this job, we sit down a lot, right?
Yeah.
Or you think you should sit down a lot. You don't have to. That's one thing I love about Floki, actually, is that the console is up at, you have to stand.
Really?
Yes, exactly.
No way.
So that's amazing. So it's more set up kind of like a live sound engineer.
That's great.
So it's awesome.
And the speakers are at that height too?
Speakers are at that height.
Yeah,
exactly. So, but the thing is with this industry, man, I realized that I had to take care of myself first. Every morning, like it's just about me. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm selfish or anything, but like it's literally about me because I'm helping people all day long. You know what I mean? Whether I'm by myself mixing, mastering, or I'm in the studio with people recording them. They're long days. And if I'm not feeling solid, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever, you know, like I'm not there. I can't be there, you know, in the moment for what really matters, you know, is helping people create magic, right? So, yeah, man, so my day, I may have told you this before, but first thing, I wake up in the morning, cold shower, bam, that's it, you know.
Don't you have to, wait, so I love doing the ice bath cold routine. I don't do it every day necessarily, although there's times where I've done it a lot. But I do know that a cold shower, especially in the morning, it takes a real mental decision to just get in there and face it. Is there anything you've figured out for yourself about doing that as opposed to stepping into a cold shower after a workout, for example?
Okay, well, so there's a reason why I don't do it after a workout.
Yeah.
So in terms of a cold shower isn't the best thing to do after a workout if you are looking for, say, a certain gains or adaptations.
Yeah.
Like especially with muscle growth.
Right.
Hot shower is great after a workout, you know, after a lift or whatever.
Yeah.
But cold shower first is fine, you know what I mean? But I should say a cold shower or a plunge isn't beneficial after a workout within, say, a 5 to 6 hour period.
Right. I think that has to do with the fact that when you lift weights, your muscles get slightly inflamed and then re-heal themselves.
Exactly.
And that's part of the whole process of like gaining muscle growth. And if you do the cold, it's like it reduces inflammation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So interesting. So you do the cold shower in the morning. And
and then I'm up. I have my phone and my computers all are set for to wake up at a certain time, 7 a.m. I wake up early, so but before 7, I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not checking email. I'm just getting ready to head off to the gym.
Yeah.
Get to the gym, do the thing, come home.
Eat after gym?
Eat after the gym. Yep, exactly. So I eat after the gym. Once that's, I get out for a walk. And then I start the second part of my morning, which is checking email, seeing what needs to be done that day, and then get into the studio.
Yeah. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel like you're wide awake quickly? Do you feel like switching to the new routine, like you trained or taught yourself and your body how to wake up more quickly just through routine? Repetition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like when I first started just waking up and like, okay, I got to go to the gym. Oh man, this is going to be like, I really had to work at it.
Right.
A
lot of lean out hard on the mindset.
Yeah. Now, like if I don't, I'm like, it's not even that. It's just like breathing. I just get up and it's my life,
Yeah.
So then I, do that whole routine. Then I'm working. I take a lot of breaks. And one thing I'm going to start implementing that Kim and I were actually talking about last night is that this whole idea of working for 90 minutes uninterrupted.
Right. The Pomodoro
exactly
method.
Yep. So I'm actually gonna
90's pretty long.
90's pretty long, but like I feel like I'm gonna yeah, but I also know that 90 minutes for me can go by pretty quick when I'm mixing, and or working, I mean, obviously it's not a hard set rule, but I am going to get myself like a little egg timer, and just like set it off in the back. And if I feel like, okay, it's 60 minutes, I'm ready to take a break, cool. But my whole point is like, I take a lot of breaks. I'm walking a lot when I'm mixing. I'm standing up. Just kind of walking around the room, listening, and just moving, And then I go upstairs. Our room is in the basement, so I'm like walking up and downstairs a lot throughout the day. And generally speaking, my day in the studio starts somewhere between 10:30 and 11 in the morning. By the time I'm all finished with the first part of my morning. And I'm usually finished by 3.
Do you do lunch or do you just sort of have late breakfast?
Yeah, no, I do lunch. Yeah, I do a fairly large breakfast, do lunch, and then dinner, And then all of that is a kind of all worked out in terms of like the amount of my macros and
right. You're trying to be
protein,
conscious of what you're eating.
Yeah. So I know what my goals are and what I'm.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
And then that's my day, and then after that, I'm outside, like getting a hike in, or a nice long walk, just living life. So other things.
It's probably beautiful where you live too.
Super beautiful.
Yeah.
Super beautiful.
Western Mass is gorgeous.
But the thing is, when I'm working, like it's all about focusing on what I'm working on. So what I used to do, and I know a lot of people do this, you're mixing something, you're mastering something, whatever it may be, and you're excited about it. You want that person that you're working for to hear it. So what I used to do is, oh, cool, I'd upload it to Samply, copy and paste the link, and maybe text it to somebody or email it. Right?
Because you're excited.
You're excited. The worst thing I could possibly be doing. Because what happens is like, okay, I finished this mix. Oh, I'm going to work on the next song or another artist or whatever. And you send a text or email. They listen to it. Oh, this is great. But can you bring the guitar down 2 dB? Can you do this and this and that? Okay, cool. I'm put this mix away. I'm going to do this and send this out. And you're constantly back and forth, It's insane, It's like I wasn't able to really focus on one thing at all. So what I do now, and I don't know if anyone who I work with is listening to this, but this is what I do. This is This is the secret. Doesn't matter how long it takes me to mix something or master anything. It could take me an hour. It could take me 6 hours, whatever it is. 20 minutes. I'll copy that link, put it in an email, and I scheduled every email to go out at 7 p.m. Now, my phone and all my tech wakes up at 7 in the morning, goes to sleep at 7 p.m. So when all these emails go out, that goes down. So I don't even, if they respond to me 2 minutes later, I don't see it until the next morning.
That's great, man. That's great.
You know? So it's just, if
you've got to protect, you're protecting the important zone. You know?
Exactly. I just, you know, it's great to be excited, but you want people to hear it, you know, but it's all, the cool thing about that, there's been times where I've like scheduled a mix to go out, say it's like 1 p.m. and I scheduled, cool. And then I'm kind of hanging around like, you know, let me go listen to that again. Ooh, I missed that. Or like, ooh, I should change that. Well, they haven't heard it yet, you know. So
right. So you
I'm
can
able
still change it and sneak it in.
Change it and sneak it in.
And sampling is great that way because that, depending on which link you sent, your uploaded new version may be still part of that original link that you sent.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, there's just, again, there's just all like these little things that I've adjusted in my life to help me be better, just as a person, but just so I can help others, you know, because that's what this gig is, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't get.
Well, you've been a drummer, man.
Well, yeah.
You're almost always helping others.
Well, yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny you say that, man. I was thinking about that just recently, about just the role of a drummer.
We can't even stand up without a backbone. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, yeah. You know, I mean, it's at least in the music that we are familiar with and listen to, like you know, I mean, I don't want to take away from drummers. I mean, I play a lot of drums, but we're just like a really good sounding metronome. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're just a good sounding click track, you know. But that, you know, but with that mentality, man, like, you know, like it is like you're supporting what's going on, you know. So I guess in that fashion, that I've just kind of taken that from that realm of music into this one.
Well, I mean, to stick to the backbone analogy, it's like you're the reason why we could hopefully have good posture. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up in my chair.
Yeah, exactly.
iZotope is truly amazing for mixing and mastering your music. Check out the new iZotope Velvet plugin featuring intelligent sibilance learn de-essing that automatically detects harsh frequencies, dynamic tone shaping with lift and tame controls, and transparent declick to clean up mouth noises, pops, and clicks, all in one easy plugin for polished professional vocals. And now Ozone 11 takes your mastering game even further with the new Clarity module for adaptive spectral enhancement, upward compression in the maximizer for increased punch without losing dynamics, and stem focus to process individual elements like vocals or drums with surgical precision. Use the code ROCK10 to get 10% off Velvet, Ozone, or any fantastic plugin at iZotope.com. Well, let's see. So there's more stuff that you're going back to Floki. I think you've got Soulive coming up, maybe.
Soulive coming
maybe
up.
another more Oteil. Is that right?
Actually, well, I was. Yeah. I'm going to start.
You're all about Iceland now.
Mixing. I know. I'm going to start mixing Oteil's newest.
Are they starting to give you loyalty points at the country as you enter the country?
Well, yeah. Hey, yeah. There's some perks, you know, to getting over there quite a bit. So yeah.
You get an extra helping of lingonberry. No, that's Sweden. Sorry.
Yeah. Skier. I get extra. I get extra helping at skier. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's happening. You know, I mean, Oteil has been pretty busy. You know, at the Sphere, skier at the Sphere. Yeah.
What's so?
With Dead and Company.
Are they playing there all the time now?
No, they just finished a run.
I knew that they had done shows there. I didn't know.
Yeah. So they just finished like their second kind of big thing there. I don't know if they're doing another one next year, but it's kind of crazy. So
that's the sort of show that if you've got a show coming up, you're busy for quite a chunk of time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think they were there for 3 months or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't talk to him much, like, you know, like,
because there must be a routine of rehearsing off the clock or something like that. Maybe we can't reveal this.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I don't know if there's, I think they just kind of, once you're kind of posted up there, it's, you know, you're just there just because it's in terms of like production, it's not like a tear it down and, you know, something else is going to come in for a couple of days. So just kind of just take over, you know. Okay,
sort of, which is a very Vegas thing to do for shows.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been out there yet. I don't know. We'll see.
I've been to the outside of it. I've seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's, I went for a consumer electronics show. It was my trip to Vegas.
Yep.
And it was cool. It's something to see. I mean, you can see this imagery, you know, rotating around on this sphere in the distance from wherever you are, you know.
Yeah. I don't know how well I don't know. We'll see. That's some quite a bit of a visual just stimulation. I don't know if.
Well, you're probably just looking, you know, at an audience, you know, in front of you while you're playing anyway.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Unless you meant to go watch the show.
Watch. Yeah.
Oh, I was picturing you in the drummer's seat.
Oh, okay. Hey, all right. Well, we'll see. You know. Well, yeah.
We'll make the entire screen resonate with every kick and snare. Because of course.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I did hear that they have like what were they, like kickers, like subs, like under the seats and all.
Yeah, apparently the sound is really wild, and there's, I forgot how many, 10,000 or something like that, of these particular speakers that can direct sound, and then there's phase correlations between them. It's all similar to the Atmos kind of, you know.
Yeah.
You know, binaural kind of rendering kind of stuff where I think somebody told me that you can hear, and I've probably said this a couple of times on the show. This would be really funny to anybody who's like, dude, you keep saying that. It's not true. But, you know, that you could be sitting in one chair watching the show and hear somebody say something to you in English, or they could tell you that you had a phone call at the front desk and the people at the other chairs don't hear that audio message or something like that. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
Well, so, all right. So, but you did record with OTL already. I did a second one, right?
Yeah, second one. Yeah. Which is going to be a lot of fun. A completely different thing. All original music.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the previous the where he's singing the Dead songs.
Right.
Just beautiful. So, and his singing sounds so great. And you talked about that on the last episode. So check that out, Rockstars, if you're curious and would like to learn more about that too. But, you know, you talked about the whole process of helping him find his voice and you know, his singing is a very like beautiful vulnerability to that record that really came across nicely.
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Again, team effort, man. You know, so.
Let's see. And then the Reckoners. Tell us about that project.
Yeah. So I'm in the process of, I've been recording a new album with them, which I'm going to start mixing when I get back from Iceland.
Maybe tell us a little bit more about who the Reckoners are.
Yeah, Reckoners, great rock band based out of Boston, Massachusetts. Johnny Trauma on guitar, Tim Gearin, who's the lead singer. He's a phenomenal guitarist as well, and songwriter. Darby Wolf on keys, Mark Hickox on bass, and Tom Airy on drums. They are just a phenomenal band. What I love, great songs, great tones. They're the kind of band where you just literally put the microphones up and just hit record and just make sure like you don't mess anything up, you know? And I don't think I've ever, I mean, if they do more than 3 takes of something, like there's something really wrong. Like, and every take is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, okay, pick, and Tim, and it's old school, man. Like Tim will be in a booth singing live, you know, every take, you know, and basically they're like, oh yeah, take 2, that's the one that feels great. That's the one that feels great. That's it. You're like, the vocals are with it. It's just a whole performance.
Yeah, it's a really fun way to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so they're playing with Susan Tedeschi, is that right?
Yeah. So Susan was a guest on the first album. She and Tim are old friends. They used to date a long time ago. And they're still really cool. The Reckoners open, you know, they're open a show or two, whatever, for, you know, TTB.
Is that TT the? Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking TT the Bears, the Boston club.
That's
exactly.
Yeah.
In my head.
The new album is shaping up really nicely, man. Sounds awesome. They're just easy to work with, you know. Again, great songs. I mean, it just easy to mix. It's everything just falls into place, you know. And
it's fun to work with people when they bring a musical confidence to a session too. It's like, it doesn't mean everything's nailed perfectly, but it's like there's a confidence in like, no, that's groovy, that's great.
Well, and so, you know, going back to what we were saying earlier about what really matters, like, does it feel good? Does it make you feel something? Like when we're in the studio, when I'm in the studio with them, like they'll run down a couple of takes of the song. They'll come in and listen, and generally speaking, they usually agree as they're walking into the control room. They usually know which one was the one.
Mm-hmm.
Now you listen to it, and of course, sometimes there's like some, I missed that, or but they don't bug out about that. You know, like right. That's the take. Maybe if we really have to fix something, we can. But yeah, if you miss the fill, but that's the take, cool. Like, yeah. And they are cool with it.
I like working that way. And I like when, you know, the take and the essence of a recording. Because I like going in with, you know, a band myself and playing together. There's just something about that. And sure, there's sometimes the way we do that is we actually have to lay down the guide against the click first, and then we play to that. Sometimes we have to break it up into bits, but a lot of times we get to just play as a band, and I love it when you just can even turn the click off on some songs and just don't need one.
So check this out. This is the one thing I love about Tom Arey, the drummer, and he is literally one of my favorite drummers, and I've actually gotten a chance to play with him, playing bass with him when he's playing drums, you know, like it's just, he is incredible. But he has like, I don't even know what it is. I've been meaning to ask what it is, but it's basically like this metronome that he has, right? And it has like this big, like pulsating light on it, right? And they never record to a click track other than that. So he like finds the tempo of the tune, cool. And they're just playing, right?
It's like more of a heartbeat or a pulse.
Right. So he's just, I don't know what he's watching it all the time.
It's an app or it's
no, it's just it's a physical, like, you know, like a metronome kind of thing. I'll ask him what it is. I've always been curious. Now the cool thing is there's times where this has happened where they really dig the majority of this take, but like, oh man, but that solo was from take one was awesome, you know, man. Or I'll just fly in a vocal from another spot or whatever.
Right. Yeah, one line or something.
Man, it is always on point. Like, so there's no click track coming from Pro Tools,
right?
But Tom is like holding it down, and then they all are like fall in the step. They're all just locked together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I can always do a full band cut with them, you know, or just take certain pieces out if I really need to.
So if you're going to do a full band cut, is there typically the instrument that you zoom in on, or do you just do it by ear, or do you zoom in on something and like
drum.
cut and paste? Kick drum.
Generally speaking, kick drum, you know. I'll just tab the transient, you know, and grab a certain section, you know, and it usually works out. And then obviously, like, you know, after I select all tracks and do it, you got to move things over, you know, just to get rid of pops and clicks and just ease transitions into things. But generally, I just look at the kick drum.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we used to do on tape, you know?
Yep.
I mean, you just like,
exactly.
You know, get that, you know.
Get your grease pencil out.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot easier now.
Okay, cool. And then let me see. One of the other ones I wrote down, which I think is going back a minute, was just Crowd Company Stories, the song stories. And just that particular album sounds really great. Voice sounds a little like, reminded me of Amy Winehouse, a little bit with that soul element in there. Great horns, guitars, drums, and bass.
Yeah, I mean, that's another Crowd Company. That's my buddy and partner in Vintage League Music.
Right, yeah,
Rob
cool.
Fleming.
Greatest band name. I mean, a label name.
Oh, thanks,
too.
man. Yeah.
Dude, I forgot. Did you say you had like you're a baseball fan too, and that's where that comes from?
So yeah. I mean, that was the idea of, like, you know, it was a combination of like baseball and like the Super Friends, like kind of superheroes kind of thing, you know, like, you know, just like, you know, yeah. So, but yeah, Crowd Company, man, just a great band. The first album I mixed for them was recorded in London, and then I can't remember the name of it. Jeez, that's horrible. Sorry, Rob. A lot of music.
Sorry, I'll pull it up.
Yeah. It came and went. Anyway, but then they came over to me a couple of times.
Was it Now or Never?
Yes, Now or Never. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the studio that they recorded at, I guess, kind of shut down, you know, in between that album and
where are those guys located?
London.
Oh,
Yeah. So they all like kind of flew over here and recorded a few albums that way. Again, you know, just a great band. They play together, a lot, and the tunes were pretty much fully formed and written. Again, it's just like they wanted a particular sound. So at that point, when I say it's like, oh, you just put up the mics and go. I mean, that's a lot of it. I mean, everything I attempt in the studio. The one reason why people luckily like working with me is that when they come into the control room and I hit play, everybody says, whoa, it sounds like an album.
Nice.
Whatever that means, you know what I mean? But it sounds like, to them, it sounds like an album. And to me, that's how it should. I don't like to make excuses or try to paint a picture of what it's going to sound like, because I feel like I haven't done my job. Mm-hmm. Like, the snare drum sound should pretty much be the snare drum sound, because before you hit record, before you put a microphone on it, because you chose the right snare drum for the song,
right,
the person can hopefully play it correctly, you know, and appropriately for the thing. So it's all, to me, man, it's all about everything before you hit record. How
often do you find yourself needing a little bit of mixed treatment on the drums for them to sound right? Like in terms of things like, you know, a reverb on the snare or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like,
and I guess the other part of that question is, would you try and set that up so that you're hearing it at the tracking stage, so that when you hit playback on that first thing, it's already in there a little bit incorporated?
Exactly. So this is the thing. The one thing there'll be times where I'm working with a guitarist, right? And we're working on a guitar solo, and it needs to be spacious. You know, the one thing that, man, there's a lot. I love working with guitarists, but a lot of them just don't know when to stop playing. You know, like, it's so funny. Like, I'll talk, say, okay, oh yeah, cool, I got it. I said, play when someone's singing, don't play. Fill in the spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I know.
Nope. And you hit record, and they're just playing all over the vocal, and then the spaces are still there. Anyway, my point.
As a guitar player, I've experienced how difficult that can be to really get it. Sometimes you have to like really figure it out, and then you have to listen for that last word in the phrase, and it's like, oh, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Now I can play.
Exactly. So what I'll do, say if they want a spacious solo. Okay, what I'll do is I'll put an echo or a delay on, so they can actually hear it, rather than, okay, play some stuff and then we'll put like some echo on it afterwards. Well, that doesn't really work because they're playing over all this. But if you put an echo on that, they can actually, you play 2 notes and it's dun, 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 and then you come in like it's just like you would like if you're using on your pedal board or whatever,
Yeah, totally.
Or just use something that's on the pedal board,
So create the sounds.
Create
so that they can
like
play
the sounds. Like if you're using if someone's using cans, and I want them to hear what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's just then you play to that sound.
One of the fun reasons to just have a bunch of pedals around. Another fun reason to have some version of an analog mixer sometimes, so you can actually create an affected sound.
Exactly.
That's not coming straight out of the guitar amp yet or something like that.
Right.
And then some of these things you can create with the plugin world. And everything like that.
Totally. I mean, I'm when I'm tracking, I have a template that I use during tracking that is zero latency. Like, so it's filled with like has some plugins, that I can use, but I always make sure that it's like zero latency.
Yeah. And what are you recording into again?
Pro Tools.
Yeah. So that would be like a DSP mode on something, or it would just be a native plugin that just has like almost no latency.
Yeah, exactly. So for instance, like I use during tracking, I use actually, I'll tell you one that's zero latency, which is awesome, is MBSI.
Oh yeah, right on, man.
Dude,
that was a lot of fun to do.
The compressor on that is magical. The compressor, like which has been added.
Right.
That thing is.
But it's still got the sound. I mean, still Bill Simzik's idea of what sounds cool.
Man, that plug. Look, I've been meaning to tell you, man. That plugin is. I've told Joe and BJ and all the cats, but like, man, that plugin is so much fun. It sounds so good. The filter on it, the low, the high filter that you can like select, so they're both,
Yep. Whew. Yeah, just give it a little bit of just shave off some of the lows, shave off some of the highs.
And I love the overdrive on that. Like
that was a little added touch.
But I use that sparingly. But that plugin is awesome. But my point is that anyone who's interested in tracking with some vibe, and you don't have like are they still like HDs, Pro Tools, or what do they call them now?
I have HDX.
HDX, okay, right.
And then Native or Native IO or whatever it's called.
But if you just have like a 4-channel interface or 8-channel thing, and you just want to track with some vibe, that's a plugin that you should get. So that's the thing. Just always I always look for something that has zero latency. Yeah. And you really have to dig, so I'll spend some time loading plugins into just a blank, I'll just open up one channel, on Pro Tools, or a mono or stereo channel, and just let me try that plugin.
Are you recording your own music or other people's music in your studio, but you're having trouble figuring out how to get your mixes to sound great? Do they sound weak and distant or lack punch and clarity? Well, I've got a gift for you to help you take your mixes from sounding like basement demos to sounding a lot more like professional mixes. And it's my free course called Mix Master Bundle. This course will show you how to get pro-sounding mixes from your home studio with free and stock plugins in Pro Tools. And the best part is, These mixing techniques will work for you in any DAW, whether you're in Logic, Cubase, PreSonus Studio One, Reaper, or anything you can think of. Are you ready to make your best record ever? Then go to mixmasterbundle.com to get started for free now, and you can find the clickable link in the show notes of this episode. Now, would you look for the samples latency reporting in Pro Tools to see what it says? Yeah,
exactly.
And then the other thing is, like, when you're in headphones, that's when you really notice if there's something wacky going on with your sound.
Exactly.
I've noticed with a vocal mic, I can hear the tiniest bit of weirdness. It'll mess things up in my my head.
Yeah. So here's a funny story. We were in Iceland recording OTO's second album, and Jaden, this young kid, phenomenal guitars. Oh my good, Jaden Lehman
he knows where the spaces are.
Yeah, yo, how old is Jaden? I think he's 19 or 20 now or something. Just doesn't make sense. Anyway, so we had him overdubbing this part, right? And he's playing it, and I'm like, O'Teal is in the room with him, like, okay, this is what I want, and he's playing. I'm like listening back. I'm like, bro, he's just not getting it, and I keep hitting, the talk back. Oh, Jaden, try it again, man. You're just, it's not feeling right. It's not sitting in there right. He's like, okay, being really cool. Dude, this went on for probably like 45 minutes or something, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm thinking to myself, man, yeah, I finally have to go out there and have to talk with him. You know what I mean? Like, just like, bro, like, I don't know, like, we're gonna have to get someone else down this part. I
got a bad feeling I know where this is headed.
So we were also doing, while we were recording, there was a feed for a private video, like a YouTube stream, right?
Yeah.
And I found a limiter to put on, that
on the send
on
of
the
YouTube
send, just
feed.
so you just get the level up, So now I found a limiter. It was just the limiter that was in like Pro Tools. It was just like
like Pro limiter. Or
exactly. No latency, so it's great. In my fact-finding mission, I found another limiter. I was like, oh, this will be great, but it had some latency. So somewhere while I was doing that, I forgot to make it inactive on this session. So when he's doing these overdubs, he's hearing the whole mix. He was hearing it totally fine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's playing but when it's being recorded, it was like off, So I'm like, bro. So he finally came in and we figured it out. I was like,
he pressed play. He's like, I didn't play that.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what I performed. I was like, felt so bad. I was like, and so at this point, he's all like kind of like nervous and like getting all in his head because like it was completely my bad,
Now there's gonna be like there's gonna be lore about Al Evans, the producer, who would just shake you up on your first session.
Exactly.
Here he is at 19, and that's his experience. He's gonna carry that through his career.
Yeah. Well,
I remember that time where they used to just shake you up in the studio for 45 minutes, just to get you ready for the session.
Yeah. So again. During track and just watch those
so
plugins.
And it's so frustrating. That happens to me sometimes, like where I have the master track on in Pro Tools and there's plugins on it, and we pull up the session and get ready to work, and I have to always remember, like, disable the master track. Just disable it. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
But the other place, I feel like when you said to a YouTube send, I could see you putting the plugin on there. But then Pro Tools compensation might try and make the entire session like shift to compensate because of that one send that you're not even hearing, and that could throw you out.
That's
probably what happened too.
That's
right?
exactly what happened.
Wow,
so we had a really good laugh after it, and I was, hey man, the thing is, like, everybody has to go through it at some point, like you get beat up in the studio,
like, but at 51 I kind of thought I had already gone through it. Sorry, bro.
Yeah. So it was cool. We had a good laugh, But,
that's awesome.
But yeah, the thing is, man, just like I love having like the vibe, like in the cans, and when you walk back in the control room, you just like
everyone just feels better about what they're doing. It's like, oh, man, this sounds great. And so yeah.
Yeah, it's important to do, and it's just that important reminder to us again to like keep putting the headphones on. Rockstars, just check out. Make sure you put yourself out there, put yourself in people's chairs, and just like see what's the experience like where they're sitting. Your musicians, because you can forget to do that sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, especially these days, man, when things are just moving so quickly. You know, like, I mean, that's like, I always talk about the the magic of tape, or people talk about the magic of tape.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can go down a whole wormhole there. I'll do it quickly. So I get these requests for, oh, well, should we print it to tape, or tape comes up, people's ideas of what tape is and what it sounds like.
Right.
It's actually is really kind of funny, like,
yeah.
If you talk to the person who designed the tape machine shouldn't sound like anything but the music that's being recorded. But all of a sudden now tape is like this crunchy, like distorted, compressed, all this kind of stuff. Anyway, okay.
All the broken shit is what people want.
Yeah. It's really interesting. But so anyway, the point is the magic, to me, the magic of tape or analog, but tape. There's a couple of things. One of the most important things is the track count. Okay, you have 4 tracks, you have 8 tracks, 16, 24. Maybe if you were really rolling, you had 48. But like, I've never even used that. That's kind of crazy. But you had a finite number of tracks. So you made decisions in the writing process. You're like, hey, we're recording this album, the 16-track 2-inch. Okay, well, you're not going to put like a bunch of stuff on there that, well, we'll think about it later. We'll decide later.
Right. Right.
Okay, that's one thing. The other, that's one side of the magic of tape, more so than the sound of it or whatever. The other thing is when you get to the end of a take, people are, either hanging out in the control room or coming in, and you hit rewind.
And there's a little bit of hanging out, right?
You're just hanging, you're chilling, like things just moved at a different pace.
Yeah.
So with that said, like there was more time to like think and again, like make decisions, like when the tape's rewinding and, oh, yeah, that microphone doesn't look like it's in the same place anymore.
Right.
So, like, let me go move it, like, let me go check those headphones. Like, there was just time where now everything is just
instant.
And you don't, it's easier to miss those things. Like you said, like going to check the headphones,
it's like with the Pro Tools thing, it's like you never get up out of your chair as much.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, even, yeah.
You're more pinned down because you could always be doing something.
Yep.
Which is another good reason to have the Pomodoro thing. I've never tried that. I've never actually tried it with clients sitting in the room staring, the hole in my head. This is why we have bald spots as engineers, is because the client's staring a hole in the back of your head while you're working all day. But, hey, so another album I wanted to ask you about, I didn't mention yet, is the Mono Neon.
Ooh.
Which was interesting. I'll be honest, when I first pressed play in the playlist, I thought, wow, that sounds different. Then I was like, oh, wait, did we accidentally? So, because there are times where we've accidentally included something that wasn't on the discography. So I had that moment for a sec, but I know it is one. But it's got such a cool, interesting, different sound,
Which was, I just discovered myself because I only recorded that. And with that said, that's like I guess the one thing about, I don't know, I didn't check the credits or whatever in Spotify or Apple Music, so I don't know, but whatever. I recorded that at Floki. And there were some songs on that album that were recorded elsewhere. Yeah. But the first song, there's probably about half of the songs I recorded at Floki. So that was really interesting. It's been a a long time since I've just recorded something and then heard it on release day. And that's when I heard it.
I think it's been a long time for me too.
Yeah. So it was really interesting I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. But then you hear like the drums, like I could hear everything I recorded, but it was just different. It was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Totally. It's got it really felt, it took me back to, probably because of the keyboard sound, it makes me think of the 80s.
Yeah. It definitely had like a Minneapolis kind of, leaning.
Yeah, exactly. It was groovy.
Yeah. Big, like, reverbs.
And a lot of, like a bold use of effects.
Yeah.
There's a lot of swirling going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
The sound in the record room like that.
But yeah, it was, man, that session was incredible. I was super fortunate to have been there. So I was over recording O'Teal's first album, the Lovely View of Heaven album.
Mm-hmm.
Last day of tracking, my buddy Wade, who I said, runs the studio and the label and all, with the whole situation there, just said to me, hey, we have Mono Neon coming over here in February. Are you available to engineer it? Like he saw me, how I operated in the studio, dug my vibe. Yeah, sure, cool, And next thing I know, I'm back over there, with Mono and Davey Nathan, the producer, and his band, and Mono's band. Man, I'm telling you, working with Mono was that cat incredible. He doesn't talk a lot. You know what I mean? Like very little. Super cool dude. One of the most amazing, I'm not even going to say bassists, just amazing creatives I've ever been around. Like we would just, he had his band there and all these tunes are being written like basically on the spot.
Wow.
Or the night before, Davey and Mono would be in the room writing and they'd come in, here's a new tune. So with that said, there were a lot of takes because just learning in, getting the vibe. He never say, okay, here's another take or whatever. Okay, never said didn't complain. Wasn't like nothing. Not even It was just like all right again, and every take was incredible. Like every single note that dude played was just mind-bending, Wow. I've never seen I've worked with some incredible people, and not to take anything away from them, but this cat is on a different level. Like I've never seen anything and never been around anything like it, and so it was just really cool to hear, on release day with everybody else, to hear, someone else's, what they did with what I recorded.
Right. Different interpretations.
Yeah. It's super cool, And I feel like a lot of times, we want to do everything ourselves. I recorded it, I mixed it, whatever,
Yeah.
But man, it's like, hey, there is nothing wrong with recording and just recording something and having somebody else make you sound really good.
Yeah, totally. It's a fun experience, and it's there's lots to learn in that letting go process, and allowing somebody else to bring their creative spirit to it.
Exactly.
And then also knowing when to jump in and give feedback and when not.
Right.
Well, awesome, dude. Well, how awesome to have you hanging out in the studio, man. What a trip this has been.
Look, dude, thank you so much for having me here in your place, in your home. It really means a lot, man. It really does.
It's an honor to have you here.
Man, look.
Great to meet Kim, too.
Yeah, man. Well, look, man, it's to be asked to be on this. I've been a fan of this podcast a long time. So to be asked, when you were like, yo, man, you want to be on again? I'm like, really, man? That's okay, cool. I said, look.
I can't help myself, man. I really dig your music,
man,
too.
Well, I appreciate it, dude. And I was like, look, I have to this is the only reason why I'm in Nashville, dude.
What a trip, man. Well, I'm glad that everything was working.
Yeah.
I was like, oh boy, because I was thinking about that too. I was like, I got to really make sure it's up. So I was up late last night making sure everything was dialed in.
Man, well, I appreciate it.
So I've asked you this. Boy, this will be the fourth time I've asked you this question now. So this is our hypothetical question we close out with, but you get to take the Wayback Studio machine and go back and find yourself at just an earlier point anywhere along your journey at this point, and give yourself some advice. What do you think of when you think you want to go back and tell yourself how to be a rock star of the studio yourself?
Man, that is advice always changes, huh? You've asked me that 3 times now.
It probably does change, yeah.
Based on where I am in life right now, I would say, wow. I want to tell myself to like not spend so much time in the studio and like kind of, I'll say that. I will say that. Because maybe me saying that to myself in the past will change what I'm doing now or what I would have done now. Anyway, the butterfly effect, right? So I would say take care of yourself. Like really do more to take care of yourself. And I can honestly say that because someone should have told me that a long time ago. Again, this business is very demanding of your time and energy. And you
spent a lot of years touring and on the road.
Yeah. And people always want something from you. And I know for myself, even now, like I love giving. I love being there for people. I love being right on time, if not early on stuff. But you have to take care of yourself first before you take care of anybody else.
Yeah,
it's
the oxygen mask analogy, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
on the airplane.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
You can't rescue the kids sitting next to you unless you put yours on first. So you can.
No.
Boy, that sounds selfish, doesn't it? That would be really tough, actually, for me to not be putting it on my kid first. But it makes sense. It's like you have to be capable to help.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the biggest thing. I'd tell myself that in the past, and I still have to remind myself of that even now. There's just certain mornings where I'm just excited about whatever I have going on that day, but it's like I know that if I open up my phone or if I just go downstairs first and start mixing, that's it. I'm not going to go to the gym later. I'm not going to, it's just a wrap. It's just a wrap, and then I just feel like I've just kind of done a disservice to myself, like by doing that, like take care of yourself first, help everybody else, later. You just feel better. And that's the thing. You just feel better, like, it's like, man, I accomplished something before I did all of this,
What'd you sneak in this morning before this interview?
Actually, just a walk. So, like I said, I'm in the gym 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So
nice.
So, yeah.
3 days, a spread out 3-day weekend.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, dude, thanks for joining us here on the show. Rockstars, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, which I'm sure you did if you're still here, please remember to hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel and drop in a comment. All those things really actually help the channel, and they really help the whole algorithms and all that kind of stuff too.
Indeed.
And I look forward to coming and seeing you up in your world at some point.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while.
We have, man.
We're going to team up. We're going to
figure it out.
Yeah.
I see mobile rock stars in my future.
There you go.
Although that does involve, if I'm driving all over the country, that involves my butt in a chair an awful lot of hours. So I got to figure that one out.
Shorter trips.
Figure out the balance.
Shorter trips.
There you go. There's a lot of studios between here and there.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Good to see you, rock stars. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers. Thanks so much for listening to Recording Studio Rockstars. If you enjoyed the show and want to help make it better, then please share this episode with your friends on social media and leave a rating and review on iTunes to help the podcast reach more rock stars like yourself. You can click directly over to iTunes or go to rsrockstars.com/review for an easy explanation. And remember to hit the subscribe button to keep up with weekly episodes. And if you're ready to make your best record ever now, then head over to Recording Studio Rockstars Academy, where you can start with my free course at mixmasterbundle.com. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks for being a rock star. I'm Lid Shaw, and this is Recording Studio Rockstars. Now, go make great music. Recording Studio Rockstars would like to give a big thank you to our awesome sponsors who help make this episode possible. Isotope, Native Instruments, Atom Audio, and SAE Institute. And remember to take advantage of our special coupon codes at isotope.com and nativeinstruments.com. Use the coupon code ROCK10 for 10% off any plug-in purchase. And don't forget, you can start mixing right now with my free course at mixmasterbundle.com. If you enjoyed Recording Studio Rockstars, please check out our sponsors using the links in the show notes. These are all things I highly recommend for your studio. They're going to help you make your best record ever. Also, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's a great way for you to help support this show. I'd also like to thank our fantastic team here at Recording Studio Rockstars, Vlad Weselchenko and Liz Hulitskaya. Thanks so much for watching and listening, Rockstars. We'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.